Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the Spirit of Edmonton.
Slancha! And good evening, Whiskey brothers, sisters, and friends, and welcome to episode 94 of the Canadian Whiskey Journey's Whiskey Review. I'm Dolph, the creator of the Canadian Whiskey Journey, the Spirit of Edmonton on social media platforms, but more importantly, I'm your host tonight. And yeah, Whiskey Book Club too. My wife's in the background giving me hints, pointers as we go this. But what's happening tonight is I'm really glad to be reviewing the second of 4 whiskeys that are all part of my Alberta Best Whiskeys series. Now, I'll be presenting these 4 whiskeys at 4 different whiskey festivals this festival season, which goes from September until late spring. Oh, that was fast. Whiskey neighbor, cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. And Ben the Demon Demon Dram Hunter. He's the man. He's all over the place online. But what I wanted to show you is that. So that's what it looked like online. And this was the weekend before last at the Global Edmonton. Now, next up is Global Calgary, and then followed by MS Whiskey Festival in both Edmonton and Calgary. And I might go to the Banff Whiskey Experience as well. And that'd be great because I love the Banff Whiskey Experience. It's one of the best whiskey festivals ever. And I think it kind of rivals, and once it has more master classes, Victoria. I think it does. Now, I said this last week, and I should be consistent and tell you what would happen if you came to my booth. So if you came to my booth, you can imagine it right here. Here's the booth. I would say this. Good day. I'm Dolph, Spirit of Edmonton, president of the Alberta Scotch Society, but these are obviously not scotches. Now, we don't sell, we don't distribute them. What they are is what we think is best in the province right now. And then I would go over the lineup with them and I'd say, this is right here, this is Anoka, and that's our breakfast whiskey, and we explain that later. And this is the heavy hitter that we have tonight, and Canada's, I'm going to say, Alberta, maybe Canada's best example of a big, bold, beautiful bourbon-like whiskey. I gotta say that. And our favorite, well, the goat. This was the scientist until it went into Oloroso sherry cask. So this is our favorite sherry expression in Alberta at the moment. And then I say, and I say it with oomph. And then this is Alberta's best rye. There's no better rye right now than this. And that's a bold statement. I usually get a couple eyebrows. I say, I'll explain it to you when we get to it. Piece of cake. So that's what it sounds like. And then you're coming on with me. We tried Anoka's last week, which was fantastic. I love it a lot. Obviously, that's why it's here. But all these whiskeys, I would say to the people, are what I love most. Non-chill filtered, natural color, excuse me, cask strength, and they do not employ the 1/11th rule or the 9.090909 rule. So there's nothing wrong with the 1/11th rule if you put it directly on the label or online and you're proud of it. Because if you're not proud of it, it seems like you're trying to be a little bit tricksy. So in the future, they might be at that booth next year or the year after, someone that has the 1/11th rule. We're not nixing it completely, but if you're not proud of it, you're hiding it. And I don't like that. Tonight I'm reviewing the second. I'll show it again. The second in the lineup. And again, I'm saying the best example of a big, bold bourbon. So this is Bridgeland's Artisan Series single barrel cask strength Tabor corn whiskey. And there's a lot to say about this. So it's a 60% mash bill. The mash bill starts with 60% Tabor corn. And the family from Tabor is the Mulder family. Molnar, Molnar. And then 32% barley, 8% wheat, both of them from Penhold from the Hamel family. It's double distilled in their really unique pot still. So let's give you a couple pictures of this pot still because I love it. Reminds you a little bit of a pot still that you might see from a place in Texas I'm not saying anything about them because it's not about Texas. But again, double stilled in there and laid down in New American Oak Char number 4. Now, I have some barrel staves. This, my friends, is not Char number 4. Now, I was trying to give a good idea. This is Char number 3.5. It's almost at the 4. And you can tell a 4 when you get deeper indentations in here and it creates more rivulets. So like little rivers that they want. It's very purposeful that way, that cleans the whiskey. So the whiskey will go up and down and follow the rivulets within it. So this, you see a little bit. It's pretty good. Pretty good char. But again, this is a good 3, not quite a 4. And I'm sorry I couldn't get a 4 for you. We're trying. But the reason why I have the wood, and it's kind of important why the wood is up there right now, it's because it's the very, very first note that I get on the whiskey. So I'm going to nose it. And lots of conversation between our whiskey neighbor, and I'm so happy he's on tonight because he had something else that was going on, and I didn't know if he'd be able to make it. So there's Don DeMonte, whiskey neighbor, and you can follow the conversation. I'm not going to put them all up there because, well, there's quite a few. Quite a few. But cheers back to you, Don. Happy you're here. And Ben and John. Thanks. And I'll see most of you people later. And like you always do, comment later because sometimes you agree with my comments, sometimes you don't. Let's get into the tasting notes. And I'm sticking with it. Yeah, wood. It's wood. And then maraschino cherries. Now I get this on some bourbons, which reminds me that this is, for all intents and purposes in my mind, a bourbon. And then the sweetness finally comes, and it's a caramel sweetness for me. Yeah. And then that 63% gives you a little nudge. A little, I'm here is what it's saying. Going on to the palate. Palate. Okay. Chew on that for a bit. That's creamy, which is why I love the non-chill filter. Doesn't strip the fats, the lipids, keeps the flavors that come with the lipids, fats. But I think it's just a superior mouthfeel. And I care about that. So, second thing now. Yeah. All right. So the creamy caramel, it's creamy, and the caramel sweetness. The last thing I got on the nose was the first thing on the palate. And it kind of transforms into vanilla, which makes sense because of the barrel. But it gave me an impression, a memory of sorts. And it was almost like licking the egg beaters when your mom makes a vanilla cake. If you can just kind of picture that. And maybe that's because of the wheat. I'm not sure, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Yeah. Going back to it. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. I like it. And then the fruit. It's not maraschino cherry anymore. That was just on the nose. But the fruit comes out and the wood. Yeah. Fruit, the wood, and it finishes with the caramel. It's a really interesting dram, guys. You got to try that. Okay. Finish time. Now I'm going to say medium finish. And it's still what we consider younger. Like it's not an 8-year-old bourbon, 10-year-old bourbon, But the finish, it's finishing like an older bourbon. The palate lets you know it's young and sprightly, but that finish is cool. All right, let's do it one more time. All right, finished. So it's medium length, like I said. It goes from sweet to fruit to warm. And it's the warm that you'd expect. So it's 63%. You're getting it right here in the chest. And just like the palate, like I said before, comes back to sweetness at the end. So, yeah, sweet to fruit to warm, back to sweet. All right. And if you want this, tons of places to get it here in Edmonton. We've got Keg and Cork, we've got Sherbrooke, we've got Chateau Louis in Calgary, it's Kingston Wine Market. Tons of places to get it. But the best place to go, and I have to say this, the very best place to go is at the distillery. And I got a couple pictures of the distillery because it's a beautiful place, like Bridgeland Distillery. And it's here, and this doesn't show what it looks like anymore outside. And it's too bad I don't have one of those pictures because they have it really nicely set up. So a couple fires and benches that you're outside. Inside, they'll make you a fantastic cocktail. It's the feel of it, and you look through the glass on the right-hand side that you see now. From outside, you can look in, but from the tasting room, you see the beautiful still that they have, and it's fun. It's a place to go, and I know a lot of us spend some time in Calgary. This is a place you might want to stop off. That's it. So thank you. One last thing. I'm gonna put this on because Ben was nice enough to say this to me, and it was about a tasting coming up. There, that one right there. And I was going to mention this. You can tell because I have the picture of it. So I was going to mention this tonight because this is what's happening, and this is that whiskey drop. So I'm doing this tasting. So, my favorite one's going to be in the tasting. So, but it's a blind tasting, and I've got 3 or 4, because there's 7 whiskeys, 3 or 4 Canadian, 3 or 4 American whiskeys, blind. And we'll talk about the commonalities between them and what differentiates one to another. And you're guessing what you think they are. So it's geeky, but it's fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a fantastic time. Thank you, John, for coming on. Thank you. Let's use Whiskey Neighbor. Thank you, Whiskey Neighbor, for coming on. I do appreciate your time. And a couple of these coming on. I'll just do this. Bridgeland. And Dawn, that's high praise, buddy. And then we go. That's good. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you all soon. And hopefully I see you at one of these tastings because it'd be good to get your opinion.